then the Noon Saakin or Tanween is pronounced clearly, and this is known as Idh-haar. If Noon Saakin or Tanween is followed by any of what we call the Yarmaloon letters, i.e. the letter Ya, Ra, Mim, Lam, Waw or Noon, then we are going to do an assimilation of sounds, and this is known as Idghaam. Now, when we do the assimilation, some of the letters will cause a Ghunna to also take place with the assimilation, and some of the assimilations will be taken place without a Ghunna. So the letters which are in green, i.e. the Ya, the Mim, the Waw and the Noon, will take place with a Ghunna, and the Lam and the Ra will not take place with a Ghunna, but all of them have assimilation taking place. If the Noon Saakin or the Tanween is followed by the letter Ba, then we're going to apply the rule of Iqlaab, which means we're going to turn the sound of the Noon Saakin into another sound, and we will apply a Ghunna at the same time. And the last rule is if the Noon Saakin or Tanween is followed by any of the other 15 letters of the alphabet, i.e. it's not the throat letters, it's not any of the Yarmaloon letters, and it's not the letter Ba, then we're going to apply the rule of Ikhfaa, which is hiding of the sound of the Noon Saakin, and we apply a Ghunna at the same time. So now we're going to have a look at each of these in detail. The first one, Idh-haar, which is clear pronunciation. So if we have any of the Tanween or Noon Saakin followed by one of the throat letters, then we're going to apply the rule of Idh-haar. So note here, when followed by any of the throat letters, then pronounce as normal, i.e. there is no assimilation of any letters and there is no Ghunna taking place. Let's look at a small example. So here we have min, shay'in, in, antum, and we're going to concentrate on the underlined ones, the red underlines. So we have shay'in is one word, and it has the hamza with kasratain, and in the next word, which is in, the next word starts with hamza, so we have tanween followed by hamza. So we're going to pronounce the kasratain clearly, so that would simply be shay'in as we normally would pronounce it. We also have in the word in Noon Saakin, and then we have the next word which is antum, so after the Noon Saakin is also a hamza in the next word. So the Noon Saakin in the word in must be pronounced clearly and normally, so we just say in, so we say shay'in, in, no changes there to how we would normally pronounce. Next we will look at Idghaam, which is assimilation. If we have Tanween or Noon Saakin followed by one of the Yarmaloon letters, then we're going to apply a certain rule. So the Noon in the actual Tanween is not pronounced. The remaining sound, i.e. if we drop the Noon in, let's say, Fathatain, so if it's an, we drop the Noon, we have a left, will assimilate with the next letter. And when we say assimilate to the next letter, it's as if you're going to put a shadda on the next letter. That's the assimilation. Then we need to break it down. When the assimilation takes place, if one of the letters that you're assimilating to is lam or ra, i.e. we call this the lar letters. There is no ghunna taking place. If it's any of the other letters, or the 4 letters left, which we can remember by the word yumin, so that's the letter ya, waw, mim, noon, then we are going to apply a ghunna with the assimilation, which we're indicating in green. Let's look at 2 examples. The first one, here we have the word, we have man and then lish shayateen. So we have man, which is tanween, i.e. fatatain. The next letter in the next word is lil, so it's beginning with the lam. So we have the lam, which is one of the yar maloon letters, so we do an assimilation. So essentially what they've done for us here, they've put the shadda in for us on the first lam. So we drop the noon from the fatatain, so instead of saying man, we now say ma, and we join it to the lam with shadda, so we say malishayateen, so mali, so you're joining mali. So they've actually put the shadda in for us to show us the assimilations taking place, and it's one of the lar letters, so the assimilation takes place without nasalization, i.e. ghunna. So it's just malishayateen. The next example is shahi, and then it should normally be qan wa, but we have fathatain followed by one of the yar maloon letters, which is waw. So we're going to do an assimilation. So we drop the noon sakin in the fathatain, so we end up with qa, which then is going to join to the waw. So we read the waw as if it's got shadda. So we have qawwa. Then we have to apply the ghunna, so it becomes qawwa, too long. Hold the shadda too long plus ghunna. So that would actually read as shahiqan wa. Okay, because wa is one of the yumin letters, which must be done with ghunna. And in that case, they have not written the shadda in for us. We have to know the rule. So the first example again, we've just put in, instead of the fathatain, just written it in as if it's man, just to show that the fathatain actually equates to a hidden noon sakin. Okay, and then when you apply the idghaam, you effectively drop the noon sakin, so you end up with ma, and that joins to the lam with shadda, mali. Same thing in the second one, the fathatain, i.e. qan, is effectively with a hidden noon sakin. When we do the assimilation, it changes to qa, we drop the noon sakin, and that joins to the waw, which you read as if it's got a shadda, so it becomes qawwa. Okay, so we've just put a shadda in there to indicate